which I'm referring is the decline of the bees. Now, a common question you hear nowadays is why do bees keep dying, where the primary attention is being paid to non-native honeybees. However, little attention is being paid to the suffering of hundreds of wild bee species, which themselves contribute billions of dollars through their free pollination services. Therefore, it is our responsibility to investigate those mechanisms underlying these native pollinator declines. Now, the focus of my master's thesis has been to address the decline of native bumblebees, which are suffering from a number of stressors, including habitat loss, climate change, and exposure to pesticides and pathogens. Now, we know that in nature, bumblebees are exposed to each of these stressors, both individually and in combination. So to understand their decline and answer why bees keep dying, we must investigate specific combinations of these stressors and their effects on bumblebee health. Specifically, my thesis work investigates how unintended exposure to pesticides, while not killing the bees directly, may worsen the effects of pathogenic infection to the detriment of bumblebee health. This prediction stems from the idea that allocating energy toward detoxifying these pesticides from the body will come at a cost to mounting an effective immune response against infection. To get at this, I experimentally infected bumblebees with a severe pathogen, then administered a relevant dose of pesticide, and finally recorded a suite of responses to understand the specific effects that these combinations of stressors have. So, why are our native bees suffering? Well, this can partly be answered by a portion of my work, which has demonstrated that indeed, bumblebees which are exposed to pesticides suffer higher infections relative to bumblebees that remain unexposed to pesticides. My work supports the idea that pesticide exposure worsens the effects of pathogenic infection. So, addressing the mechanisms which underlie these native pollinator declines is the first step toward preventing their extinction. And the work I presented here heightens the need for conservation efforts surrounding pollinators facing this decline. Moreover, immediate action is essential if we consider that the loss of these pollinators equates to the loss of 1/3 of every bite of food you take. Therefore, I urge you to consider this information and the benefit you would receive from purchasing organic and locally grown food. Becoming informed of the harmful effects that pesticides have on not only you, but on the nature surrounding us is one step you can take to promote both personal well-being and preservation of these charismatic native pollinators. Thank you.